You're a pretty independent party when it comes to this, DK. So, like, who do you hate less, the Eagles or the Chiefs?
I'm really careful. Like, I know I do this all the time, but it's just sort of abstractly how I think about sports. Like, I know in football, I've never seen my team achieve greatness, but I've seen my other teams in different sports achieve greatness. And I know exactly what it feels like to be the best in the world and have other teams' fan bases hate you just for that reason. And what does happen, and I can vouch for this because I can point to you a million examples. What does happen is their bias really starts to cloud their judgment, and there's a lot of coping going on, and there's a lot of like, no, because they fucking cheated, that's why. And I'm always really reticent to sound like that. I really just don't ever want to be the guy that's like shitting on the Pats for taping practices. And because my attitude on it is like, why didn't you fucking do that? Like, did you just not think of it? Are you stupid? Like, when I see teams that are just always trying to get an edge and always trying to win, and then it works, I think that's cool. So it's hard for me to like hate a team just for them being good. Now that being said, I not really for your guys' benefit, maybe just to protect my youth. I really don't want to have the conversation about Patrick Mahomes comparable to
You won't.
being comparable to Tom Brady.
You won't need to.
Must be the three-peat because I just think the dumbest of us are the ones going like, yeah, you can talk about it now. Like he's about to surpass him. And it's like about to, like, that doesn't do anything for me. It's really hard to win Super Bowls. I mean, it's supposed to be. So until he hits the numbers, I don't want to entertain the conversation. I really don't. I just think 7 is such an unachievable goal still, no matter what happens on Sunday. I really do. And I'm worried that if Mahomes three-peats, people are going to want to shoehorn Patrick Mahomes into the GOAT debate early before he's earned it. And I don't want to have that conversation. That's my honest to God main concern about Sunday.
And we've said this before. To me, that happened after they beat San Francisco.
And it was ridiculous then.
Sure, but I'm saying but because people have been looking for so long to anoint someone above Brady.
Not that so long though.
2 fucking years. 2 years.
No, I'm saying, but like people. Okay, I'll put it like this. This is why I had an issue with those that anointed Mahomes or anybody else that would be on that level. People really didn't consider Brady to go until he beat Atlanta and he passed Montana. That was in 2017, right?
That's absolutely true. I feel the same way, and I think that's correct.
Right. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, so you're telling me he had to wait all the way to year 15?
Yes.
16? But no, which is, I mean, fine, whatever. You want to put it that way, cool. But I'm like, he had to wait that long, but yet this guy gets 1 or 2, and you're already saying that he's
this fucker has to wait too. That's my whole point.
Yeah, I'm like, that's insane to me. So now, if he gets to 8, and you want to say, okay, fine, whatever, like, or he gets to 6, all right, like, you put him in that category, but it's just like to not have more, because once again, all of you Jordan fans that get on LeBron, that's the same argument y'all make. So how can y'all say that Mahomes has already surpassed Brady when it's the same argument y'all give LeBron and Jordan? I don't understand it.
No. The argument is different, Ray, because in this case, Brady beat Mahomes twice to win 2 Super Bowls. Jordan never got to slap LeBron around, which you would have done. So like
but I'm saying
1.5.
To me, it's
1.5. Let's be fair.
What do you mean?
1.5.
Just in context. Just you have to put it in context of where they were in their careers. I mean, it's like, I understand Tom Brady was 1,000,000 years old, but he was still playing at a very high level. You know,
Tom Brady, it's like Patrick Mahomes had Andy Reid still had he was young. I get that, but he had Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt.
No, totally. But he was a baby. I mean, he was the fucking baby. He was a baby. But, I just think I'm not putting myself in a position to argue for Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying, like, I think your argument holds up without having to use that one, to be honest.
But because you inserted yourself with that argument, DK, but then
Brady
Mahomes won
as well, so.
And then next year, Brady slapped him again. So was he still young?
That one for sure. I think you got to use. I think your argument just holds water so much already. You don't really need to pull that stuff out yet. I think you're going into the well like way too early. How about put some respect on Joe Montana's name? Why are we just skipping over him? He's about to be in the conversation with Joe Montana. That's the conversation that people should be having right now. Because if he wins on Sunday, then he's in the conversation with Joe Montana, right? But you like exactly what Ray said. You put him through the scrutiny. You have to put Mahomes through the scrutiny that Brady went through, which is literally compare him to Joe Montana. Then you can compare him to Brady. Like, you still have to beat the same bosses, dude. Like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? You don't just get to skip it. So first you got to be better than the last guy that was the best. Then you get to be better than this dude, right? And Brady had to go through all those hoops as well. I'm just saying, because the thing is, I don't even want to be having this fucking conversation, first of all. But you don't have to pull every arrow out of your quiver yet. Is it like we shouldn't even be entertaining this at this point? Even if he wins on Sunday, we shouldn't even be entertaining this at this point. The only thing to be saying is just you got to come talk to you when you get 7. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And then you compare inside the context of the 7, because then, so say we go 4 years into the future, he's got 7, right? Then you can start to say, okay, yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I'm just going by the math. The maths because the rate, we go 4 years into the future, he's got 7. Then you start looking at how they got their 7, right? Then you can start having those conversations. Then you can start looking at who beat who. Then you can start looking at comebacks, giant comebacks against Atlanta. Then you can start all that stuff. Then people can on the other side can bring out, oh, okay, but if Pete Carroll just runs the fucking ball with the best running back in the NFL on 4th and 1, this is the time period where we don't have to be having these conversations.
Hold on, time out. Because I know this is not where you meant to go with this, but you brought it up, so now I got to say something about that, right?
Sweet baby Jesus.
Seattle was up 10. We get mad. No, I know
that for when the guy deserves to be in conversation.
They was up 10, and they lost the game. Atlanta was up 25. They lost the game. Like I just want to add context. We want to add context. Let's put the whole thing in there. These teams were up by a big amount.
I'm trying to protect your team's legacy. I'm trying actively to protect your team and your guys' legacy by telling you don't have to engage with those people. Not yet. You don't have to defend yourself. Not yet. You don't have to defend Tom Brady or the Patriots.
Only Giants fans can say something to us. No other fan base can say anything to us.
Correct.
Like, period. Because once again, Philly didn't beat us both times. They got us once. Okay, great. But
I don't know, the Steelers have the same amount of Super Bowls as you.
Yeah, but when it's mattered, they haven't beat us.
That's just true.
Period. So that's I was trying to go there, but
it mattered 6 times, and they won 6 times. Like
sure.
Here comes the Steelers fandom.
I
just disagree with what he said. Plenty of teams can say things.
Factual. The 6 is factual.
6 and 6. Yeah. Racy to 7 would be
Brady
my
has 7
mentality with those guys.
On team
Brady has 7, but you have to leave. That might ding you. That might ding the Pats. You have to get out of there with the 7th one. Because Belichick was like, "Can you do it with this guy I found outside? Throw it to him." He said, "I think he might be fast." He just went mad scientist by the end. So what the fuck was Brady supposed to do?
Pretty much the same.
I respect it. I was there, guys. I watched all of it. Arm in arm with my brothers that were all Patriots fans in that era. And I hated fucking listening to you guys. I hated it. It was miserable when I was there. And then I moved to LA and I got a little distance and I was like, you know what? Great team. I love that I witnessed greatness. And because I didn't have to hear from you guys for a lot of the last half of it,
10 years,
it made it a lot easier to respect them. Made it a lot easier to respect them as a dynasty. So that was nice. No, I mean, honestly, I think it is what's going to happen. I think if Mahomes wins on Sunday, it's going to be like him versus Brady. That's going to be the whole narrative that gets pushed. I think it's lazy. I think it's stupid. And I just don't think we're there yet. If we get there, I'll say it. I'm not trying to just be a hater, but it's literally arithmetic. It's just counting to 7. It's not that hard. It's doing it 7 times is fucking bananas, guys. It's crazy. It's fucking insane that he did that. And if I see that twice in my lifetime, I'll eat my own dick. How about that?
Half of his career, the man was in the Super Bowl.
I know, it's bananas.
Half of his career. The 8 straight title games. What are you talking? And I'm sorry, and I hate
Mahomes is going to 7 straight title games in his first 7 fucking years.
Yeah, I mean, which is also fucking crazy. That's crazy. It's crazy.
They just could have drafted him. Isn't that crazy? They fucking traded up for Trubisky.
What's funny, but Buffalo could have too.
Oh boy,
At least they got a guy that worked out like way sooner for them.
But that's
Fucking
the
Trubisky,
too.
dude.
And I mean, we've seen guys put up crazy numbers. In this league, as outside of Mahomes. Are any of those guys as good as what Peyton Manning was?
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, Peyton Manning, like
Who's
you can sort of
right now.
better than Peyton Manning. We're just talking about for like passing wise, or because he won.
No, I'm saying just as a quarterback talent.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I'd probably say Joe Burrow too.
Okay.
I think Joe Burrow. We're saying other than Mahomes, obviously, right?
Yeah. No,
I would take.
I'm saying because the argument is always, especially with the basketball, like, oh, who did they beat? And I'm saying, like, when you had to go through MVPs like Kurt Warner.
Oh no, I think Brady played against better quarterbacks overall. I definitely think that Brady played against better QBs.
It was
if that's your point, then yeah, I'm with you.
He had to go through
and better defenses.
Yeah. No, and better defenses probably too. Yeah. Honestly, the fucking AFC just keeps rolling over every goddamn year. That's the real issue. It's not as if they've had to really gauntlet it out the past 2 seasons. You know, I mean, Jesus. But the 49ers didn't even know the rules about the coin toss.
What was the stat? What was the stat line? I think when they are retired, it was like there was a time where there was like a 15-year stretch where every AFC Championship game was either Manning, Brady, or Roethlisberger. If I'm not mistaken.
The last 15 had been either Mahomes or Brady.
So that's
crazy.
That's insane. That's insane. That's wild. That's wild.
Just one quick question, DK. I love Saquon. I think you love Saquon. Ray, you love Saquon. Is there any chance that Saquon goes off in this game? Because I just think that's the one thing the Chiefs and Spagnuolo are gonna plan for.
It's hard for me to not envision him just popping one off like in the first quarter, because that's what he's just been doing to everybody whenever he wants. And honestly, like what the playoffs really convinced me of, and I didn't really give them a ton of credit, as you guys know, this season. It took me a little bit to come around to them because I do think Sirianni's a dumbass. If anything gets him on Sunday, I'll still reiterate. I'll still go down on that point. It's going to be Andy Reid beating Nick Sirianni. That's what I can definitely see happening.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Patrick Mahomes beating Jalen Hurts to a certain degree. I mean, if you're really betting smart money, we just talked about, we basically did an entire diatribe just now between the three of us of the legacy of the Super Bowl and what guys you see in there and what guys come out on top. And honestly, I mean, Jalen Hurts he can make plays and he's like a great fantasy QB, but he's not Patrick Mahomes, dude. Like you can't bet against that guy. That being said, if anything can happen for the Eagles, it's that. Right? Like if we go special player for special player, I'd usually rather have the QB. I think we've hit that point ad nauseum too. But if we go special player for special player, we're really saying that it's Saquon versus Mahomes. And it's a question of which guy is, like you said, Mike, which guy's going to show up? Which guy's going to show up and just win the game for his team? If it's neither guy and they both get game planned for somehow, I don't see Mahomes getting game planned for. But if they do, then the Chiefs will win. Yeah, because Andy Reid will I think.
Remember that joke I told you that my boy told me? He's the black Alex Smith. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean it's
like, hey,
I just it's tough. It's a tough look. I mean, I really do think that I was way undervaluing the Chiefs' offensive and defensive lines, and their defense, honestly, as a whole. I really think their defense is super legit. I think they have a couple of kind of hit or miss wide receivers. What's that?
No, I'm saying Chris Jones is legit. McDuffie is legit.
No, totally. No, totally. It's not as if the Chiefs aren't making sure that their defense is like in the advanced analytics statistically for like, they're hitting all the right metrics for like what this Chiefs team needs for them to win. I'm just saying, I think I didn't give enough credit to the Philadelphia Eagles lines, and I think Saquon really is having a special season. I think it's a special season whenever it happens. To be honest, I really do. I think he's done a lot, but come on, Mike. Like me and you are always on the same page about this, right? The running back's not going to go win a Super Bowl for his team.
That's really why I won. That's really why I won.
Two takes are possibly colliding on this one. The running back can't be the best team of Super Bowl champion, right? That could come to fruition. And like the Philadelphia Eagles went from starring in Rent earlier this season, and now they're back in the Super Bowl, right? So like They went from AIDS to the champs potentially. So Dave, we both have the chance of being either still being right, because I think if Sirianni gets his ass kicked, he'll be fired. Probably. If he loses a close one,
you really got him
if
to another Super Bowl.
If they get smoked, yeah.
But are you saying in the offseason, if he gets fired, does he become like, if you're like, you got him to, these are all the metrics that you like in a head coach that you think are defensible. He hits all your markers. Would you fire him?
I wouldn't have fired Jim Caldwell, but the Lions did. So yeah, I'd probably fire Sirianni. He's an asshole. And if you can't win with Saquon and with Jalen Hurts and with AJ Brown probably in his last year and Devontae Smith now and the number 1 overall defense. Now, I'm not saying if they lose by 3, if they lose because of a pass interference call or a late hit, again, that's different. But if they go out there and it's 31-9, you got to think about.
I don't know if I see that happening. They've honestly gotten better in the playoffs, which I think is the best thing for them. Is I think that they really locked in professionally in the playoffs, which is not what I saw coming. I mean, did you expect it, Ray?
No, but once again, when you have that type of talent, eventually it takes over. I
also think they did have kind of an easy game.
It better not give it's going to be tough on Broad Street. You're gonna know what Broad Street bully mean if they don't find a way to win. So it's like, but somehow, some way, I expect a Ric Flair type promo, and Mike knows what I mean when I'm about to say this. I expect Patrick Mahomes or Andy Reid to say, with a tear in my eye, I consider this to be the best day of my life. Like, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what's going to happen. They're going to sit there. They're going to third. They're going to third in a row. They're going to make it sure.
I think they had.
They want.
I think the one thing you could sort of say about the Eagles, though, as much as Saquon definitely went out and killed a lot of teams, and they played really well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of nice things happened to them. They got a lot of breaks their way. The snow game against the Rams, a Rams team that should have had a home game before that and didn't get one, and then had to go on the road in the snow against Philadelphia. Tough. And they almost let them come back and win in the snow, I might add. There was a gamey performance in the fourth quarter by their offense, by the Rams offense. So that broke their way a little bit, right? That hard snowstorm came in. You could look at this as luck and it's going to run out, or you could look at it as I don't know, they might have a little fairy dust on them, they might be the ones this year. So I'll just make this case and you guys can take it for what it is. They beat the Packers, who I think anybody would have done, to be honest with you, if they're playing against a Jordan Love putting in a performance like that. Was I happy about that performance? Yeah, I was. Did I take my gleeful laps around the pond? I tried to. Mike rained on my parade, as he's wont to do. He said I couldn't celebrate Jordan Love being a fucking waste of a contract yet. All right, we'll do it again next year, no problem. But terrible quarterback performance, at least in that game. Which when the other team's QB just doesn't show up like that and shits his pants, Sam Darnold, elsewhere, it's going to be a lot easier to win the game. That breaks their way. Then in the NFC Championship game, listen, I know it was a plucky underdog tale, and I know that we really enjoyed it, but let's be honest. They saw the Washington Commanders, a team that did not deserve to be there. They're ahead of schedule. They're doing great. But the Washington Commanders should not have been allowed to go to the NFC Championship game. And when I'm looking at you, Detroit, I'm looking at you because you, much like the Lakers not showing up in the 1985 finals, much like that happening, you guys owed the Eagles a date at the prom. Okay, you didn't show up to the dance. It was your time to show up to the NFC Championship game and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Instead, you let the fucking Washington Commanders go in there and play the Philadelphia fucking Eagles. That's crazy. That's crazy. You were the 1 seed. That's embarrassing. You need to take a look at yourselves, okay? And I hope it wasn't your offensive coordinator's fault. I'll say that for the record for twice on Sundays. All right? Fingers crossed. For me, I'm not going crazy this offseason. My expectations, I'm going to leave them low so I don't fall.
Yeah, we'll talk to you in August.
If I was going to get really excited, I already would have, I think, because of all the Eric Bieniemy signing, which you shouted out.
I was here.
Eric Bieniemy.
I know. I was here last year. You knew you were going to draft Caleb, and you were still like, okay, it doesn't matter. We'll be fine. It's just whatever. And then fucking Hard Knocks
I did say I didn't want to retain. I didn't.
And you lost your fucking mind after Hard Knocks. You were Team Everflus, kind of like the beard, like the hair. Love it all.
Pre Hard Knocks, I was saying we need to move on from him. I was saying that before the decision came down. And then I rationalized it. I said, I just got to stick with this guy because we're sticking with him. So I hope he does good. But I did know he was a fucking plonky idiot. Like I knew he was an aw shucks dumbass. And I talked myself into him from Hard Knocks. Yes, I got fully propagandized by Hard Knocks. You're absolutely right. I'm not going to have this problem this offseason, you see. So it did. It got me fired up. And I should have known better because we were on Hard Knocks. I should have known. So you're right there, and I'm not going to get too excited. I do like a lot of the noises that are coming out of there. What the fuck was I talking about before we got sidetracked? Oh, Detroit. Come on, guys. Yeah, like that was on you. The Philadelphia Eagles, this is my whole case in point. They had some stardust potentially on their run to the Super Bowl. And now you got to play the far and away most legit team, even close, that you've seen for the entire postseason. That 31-9 could be in the future. Honestly, I wouldn't be wholly surprised if Ray's prediction comes true there. Ugh, depressing.